Now, time to take a look at the markets for the week ahead. Forsyth Barr investment strategist Zoe Wallis is with us, thanks to our partners at Forsyth Barr. Zoe, the US Fed reviewing rates this week. What are we expecting?
Yeah, absolutely. So very much the Federal Reserve is expected to cut interest rates by about 25 basis points. So that's the sort of consensus view among economists and market pricing. The reasons behind that is what we've seen in terms of the last few weeks has been a weakening or deterioration in the labour market data over in the US. And of course, the Federal Reserve has this dual mandate where they're equally focused on inflation and the other side of it, which is the labour market. So very much expected to cut interest rates, although expect to see quite a wide divergence in views within the rate cutting committee. What we've seen is that it's very not much been a vote rather than a harmonious unanimous decision in recent decisions, and expect that to be unchanged this time round as well. Markets will be looking pretty closely for where the projections head and where the suggested future path of policy interest rates will be in the US Federal Reserve as well.
Well, I guess the big question is who's going to be the new, their version of the governor, the Fed chair, because Jerome Powell is heading out the door and he hasn't been a favourite with the Trump administration. Who's likely to replace him?
Yeah, no, that's fair to say. Powell is not a favourite with Donald Trump, I have to say. What we are likely to see, or what's certainly been strongly hinted at the last few weeks, is that Kevin Hassett looks like he's the front runner at this point in time. Although Trump was saying he won't make that decision or announcement until early next year. Now, Powell does still stay on until May as Fed chair. That's when his term officially expires. A question mark over whether he will stay on the Board of Governors beyond that term as well.
Australia also reviewing rates this week, but what are the chances there'll be any change there?
So no, almost zero chance of a change in Aussie this week. Very much expected to leave interest rates on hold. What we've seen over the past couple of weeks, though, has been stronger inflation data and actually some reasonably solid numbers coming out on the macroeconomy front as well. So the market's gone from expecting at least one rate cut in 2026 to now pricing a rate hike by August next year. So very much quite a big flip in terms of the outlook for monetary policy in Australia. Now, while we're not expecting the RBA to clearly signal the direction of interest rate hikes or cuts from here, markets will be very closely scrutinising the commentary that comes out of the RBA this week for hints that they have moved towards a hiking cycle rather than a cutting one.
Now, we're heading into the silly season, but there is a little bit of data and reporting still to come on the local front. What are we looking forward to this week?
Yeah, absolutely. So locally, we've got a few pieces of data. One's net migration out this week. The other big one of interest will be electronic card transactions, which is due out on Friday. So that covers the November busy period of Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales. So it'll be really interesting to see just how open people were in terms of opening their wallets up. We've seen recently in terms of retail sales that New Zealand consumers are feeling increasingly confident in the current environment, even though that's not coming through in some of the headline consumer surveys as yet. So very keen to see how much spending we actually managed to do over November on the back of those sales. But also things like manufacturing PMI will be quite key as we head into GDP data next week to get a gauge on actually how quickly is the economy starting to gain some traction.
Thank you, Zoe. Zoe Wallis, Forsyth Barr investment strategist. Thanks to our partner, Forsyth Barr.